So now we're going to go into marketing to MDs. Like Donna said, both my parents are medical doctors, and even us, I mean, we get bombarded with people coming in and trying to market to us all the time. So there's kind of a special way you want to do marketing when it comes to medical doctors, because they're bombarded with ads, pharmaceuticals, all these people always trying to advertise with them or trying to get them to give them patients and whatever. So you kind of have to go at it sideways or kind of go around the norm of what people are doing. And believe it or not, many medical doctors are actually looking for acupuncturists because they know that medication isn't the end-all be-all. And a lot of the times, patients go in there and say, yeah, I have this neck pain. I don't want to take Vicodin. What's the medical doctor going to do? Give them Vicodin. That's all they have. Or they're going to send them for surgery or physical therapy. So if you can establish a very trusting relationship with the medical doctor, they're actually going to say, oh, okay, I actually know this acupuncturist, and we don't have to give you Vicodin. You want to try acupuncture instead of Vicodin? A lot of the times, especially depending on where you live, a lot of the patients are going to be like, yeah, because I don't want to be on Vicodin for the rest of my life. I want this to go away. So, like I said, the medical doctors want another type of form of treatment modalities that they can offer their patients. They just don't know who to refer to. If they send them to Joe Schmo acupuncturist down the street, they have no clue what Joe Schmo's doing. So this is how you go systematically to the MDs and make sure they understand what you're doing. Okay? You first want to position yourself as kind of a scientific acupuncturist or doctor. And you want to let them know, hey, I'm here to handle your complicated cases. I'm here to handle chronic pain. I'm here to handle your personal injury. These are things that doctors really don't like to deal with. Personal injury pays a lot. It's very lucrative. Chronic pain, patients are like, they're going to be stuck on drugs for so long that the doctor really knows it's not helping them. They know that you're not having neck pain because there's a deficiency of Vicodin in your system. The doctor knows that. But the doctor's only mechanism to help them is physical therapy or drugs. And so when you advertise to them and you let them know, hey, I deal with chronic neck pain all the time, he's going to remember you when the next patient comes in and says, I have chronic neck pain, but I don't want to take Vicodin. And a lot of patients do that a lot of the time. So what you want to do is kind of put together what's called, I would call them like referral packages, and they basically advertise your practice. And what's going to be in there is obviously a practice brochure you're going to have to make, a pamphlet about acupuncture. Remember, medical doctors are really scientific, so they want some evidence. And if you have a pamphlet about the research and the studies done on acupuncture, and there's a lot of them, we know there's a lot of them out there, then basically they're going to find you credible. And so you don't have to go and do the research. You can be lazy. There's a website called Acupuncture Media Works. They send you these little pamphlets, okay, questions and answers. What is acupuncture? There's a pamphlet on research on acupuncture. You go to that website. They've already done the research for you. They put it together in this nice little pamphlet, okay, talks about all the research and everything that acupuncture can help with. I would personally, I would stay away from qi and yin-yang deficiency and excess heat and cold. Medical doctors are not going to know what you're saying, and so do not talk about that with them. Personally, that's me. Okay, you want it? They've never learned it. They don't know what you're talking about. So don't go in there talking about that. All right. Now you have two ways to market to the to the medical doctors. You have existing patients, and then you have new patients, right? You're trying to get medical doctor patients into your clinic, or you have a patient that's already come into your clinic, and here's a good way to start marketing with that medical doctor. You basically ask on the first 10 paperwork, you ask them who their primary care physician is and what their contact number is. Then you can Google that physician's name. You want to introduce yourself. You can either call them or write them a letter saying you guys have a mutual patient, and basically you're working on their XYZ complaint, whatever. We're using neck pain as an example. We'll stick with that. And if possible, you'd like to send them some research on how acupuncture actually helps with this condition. So now you've already formed kind of a bridge with this doctor, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead and send it to me. And then when patients come in with neck pain, if you do it right, he's probably going to send you some of his patients. So you want to send a clear treatment plan that's very similar to like Medicare guidelines, and you want to include like a brief and professional cover letter and explains why you're sending it. And then also, if you put it in an envelope that says patient records confidential, it's actually a legal obligation that the doctor has to read it. Okay? So if we go to this next slide, you want to follow this type of criteria, okay, when you want to market to the medical doctors, because they are very matter of fact. They're very by the book. They're very about protocols. They're very about what's the research show. They're all about that stuff. They love that stuff. So you want to be on their playing. You want to be on the same level they're on, okay? So you want to talk about frequency and duration. How long are you treating them? You want to talk about your treatment plan and why you're doing it. And don't talk about qi. Don't talk about yin. Don't talk about excess heat. Don't talk about their tongue. And don't talk about their pulse. You want to talk about, well, it shows that when we stick the needles in, it decreases muscle tension, it decreases inflammation, it subsides pain by releasing what's called endorphins, things like that. That's what you want to talk about. That's what they're going to understand, and that's what they're going to get. And then you want to give them objective measures to show that the patient's getting better. And your treatment's going to be effective, or it is effective. You want to be complete, you want to be concise, and you want to support your conclusions and your medical decision making, saying research shows for this chronic neck pain, it generally takes 7 to 14 visits. We're going to do everything in our power to kind of get them better as fast as possible. Okay, and always know that patient records are confidential. So you have to kind of basically on your intake form have the patient sign off that you can be in touch with their primary care MD, and or have them sign it saying if you do not want us to contact your MD, you need to sign here. And so that's the way to kind of form a bridge between the MD and the medical doctor. Patients usually don't care. They want their doctors to communicate. Absolutely, 100%. And as long as you seem like a credible acupuncturist, the doctor's going to love you, the patient's going to love you.